Last couple of days, we've been reporting on Stephen A. Smith's call out of Representative Jasmine Crockett. So Stephen A. Smith called out Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett did not respond, but she did something else. Her response is to use Willie D's response. Her response is to use D.L. Hughley's response. Her response is to use Roland Martin's response, not to actually respond herself, which I find pathetic. But we'll get to that. Let's catch everybody up. Here goes Stephen A. Smith's response to Jasmine Crockett.
I felt compelled to come on the air a little bit earlier this week after what I've had to endure this weekend. What I had to endure this weekend were an abundance of people talking a whole lot of stuff about me because they did not like what I had to say about Representative Jasmine Crockett. She is a Democrat out of Texas. Texas's 30th congressional district. Her work, and her verbiage and all of that stuff speaks for itself. And she has become, a big time public figure in essence, not just as a representative, but speaking out on a plethora of issues involving the current administration and the White House, et cetera, et cetera. And I made some noise last week because I had the temerity, the unmitigated gall, to say this about Representative Crockett when talking about the state of our politics in the midst of a government shutdown, by the way, that has unfolded since October 1st. Take a listen to what I had to say last week, please. You Jasmine Crockett or somebody like that. Ladies, I respect intelligent women, no doubt. But how a Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself, I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? How much work goes into that? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work. Work is saying, that's the man in power. I know what his agenda is. I'm not exactly in a position to stop him since the Republicans have the Senate and the House. But maybe if I'm willing to work with this man, I might get something out of it for my constituency. Because like Joe Manchin said, he's there to represent, or was there for 15 years to represent, the people of West Virginia. She's supposed to be there to represent the people of Texas. I don't know. Maybe that just sounds ignorant because it's so simple. But it ain't that damn complicated. We make it complicated. Damn, it's frustrating. It really can be. And all the verbiage and all the nonsense that I've heard over the last few days is why it can get exhausting. Because nothing frustrates me more than when people have the truth at their disposal and they choose, maybe not lie, maybe not even embellish, but allow their emotions to usurp facts, and all of a sudden want to use that as an excuse to label me as being something and doing something I'm neither not nor have I done, which in this case is disrespecting Representative Crockett out of Texas, who, by the way, has had an invite to this show for weeks, by the way. Governor's Josh Shapiro.
Now, there are people that watch the show, but did you hear it? Because this is exactly what I told you, because I've been in this business. I said, Stephen A. been trying to get her to come on the show. This is just him trying to get her to come on the show. I'm positive he's trying to get her to come on the show. I've invited Jasmine Crockett on this show. I've also invited Stephen A. on this show.
Came on this show. Bill O'Reilly, Bill Maher came on this show. Okay? And more coming. And she has an invite. And AOC has an invite. Hakeem Jeffries, Democratic House leader, he just was on this show. I've invited Jasmine Crockett. I have nothing but respect for her. I just disagree on what she's making headlines for because I think it's counterproductive to the ultimate goal. But yet, here we are, and the word disrespect comes in, and people try to engage with words, like disrespect and implying misogyny and all of this other nonsense. Stop it. Stop it. Can we be grown-ups?
Implying misogyny? Tiffany Cross and Andrew Gillum and Angela Rye and Bakari Sellers says you have a problem with black women. That you hate yourself. Not only are you a sexist, they call you basically a coon, a sellout, a charlatan, a grifter. And those are the nicer things they said about you.
And deal with what the real issue is involving what I said? Willie D, Roland Martin, Bakari Sellers, and Angela Rye, who I have profound respect for. I mean, the list goes on and on with all of these people. I don't have their names in front of me. To my producer that texted to me, I don't have my phone on me right now, so I apologize for not having those names in front of me. But I'm what are we talking about? How's it disrespectful to say what I said? Could you just disagree? Could we just say, yo, Stephen A., I disagree with you. Here's why. We got Willie D. Put up that quote, please. He's putting out quotes or text or tweets about me. Let's see that again. Stephen A. Smith taking shots at Jasmine Crockett ain't just messy, it's weak. Dude is sitting on one of the biggest mics in America, and instead of using it to uplift, he's tearing down a black woman who's out here putting in real work. That ain't critique, that's betrayal. Jasmine Crockett ain't the problem. She's the kind of woman who walks into rooms full of snakes and makes the snakes flinch. Meanwhile, Stephen's showing what happens when the paycheck gets louder than the principal. That's sucker shit, straight up, end quote. Wow, Willie D. You sure are uplifting. I mean, I got to be touched. That was inspirational. Really, that really, really was. That was inspirational. I'm doing sucker shit. That's what you call inspirational? That's what you call uplifting? Really?
And see, I'm not Stephen A. Smith, so I'll be a lot bolder. And I know you think, oh, Stephen A's bold. But he didn't point this out, that these things that he's reading were reposts that Jasmine Crockett made on her Instagram. Reposting Willie D on her Instagram because her response is to use Willie D's response. Her response is to use D.L. Hughley's response. Her response is to use Roland Martin's response, not to actually respond herself. If there were things that Jasmine Crockett has said, my beef with Jasmine Crockett wasn't even about what she said to Trump, though I do find it transparently self-serving, and I've said as much. There were other comments that she made. There was more than one occasion she threw black people under the bus on some BS in interviews. She said things about reparations that I didn't find cool. She said things about what the Democrats have done for black Americans that I had a real issue with. I was standing on very solid ground. So I don't agree. I agree that Stephen A. Smith should be able to call out and say whatever he wants. I would be a hypocrite to say he can't. But I believe that Stephen A. Smith is self-serving, and so is Jasmine Crockett. But my reasons for wanting to talk to Jasmine Crockett was all that shit she said, like when she went on the Karen Hunter's show and said, we do a lot for black people. The Democrats do a lot for black people. Like, take my state, for instance. We're trying to help clean up the water. That's important. I'm like, don't white people in your state drink water? So you're only cleaning up water for black people? That's it? Isn't that a public good that we're all supposed to enjoy? How was that somehow a lure to get black people to vote for Democrats? Saying you're trying to clean up the water. Shouldn't the water already be clean? We're a first world country. What kind of shit is that? What kind of response is that to black people concerned about reparations and about black agendas and black enterprise and building up their businesses, and you come with some bullshit like black people should be chill? It's not like Democrats haven't done a lot. We've done a lot for black people. For instance, we try to clean the water. And Karen Hunter did not retort. She did not follow up. She did not hold Jasmine to the feet to the fire. So I want her to come on this channel and answer those types of questions. So I'm not surprised that she's not responding and that she hasn't appeared, because what's she gonna say to that? Before we go any further, let me let you know the Tim Black Wolfpack is dedicated, committed, 10 toes down to reporting the truth, unbiased, and not working for any political party. If that sounds good to you, go to jointimblack.com, become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack. So I'm not surprised that she's not responding and that she hasn't appeared, because what's she gonna say to that? I'm gonna play that clip, and what's she gonna say? See, Roland Martin will never hold her accountable for anything. He gonna give her a softball interview like he has been, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, reposting videos positive about her. Folks, the money in Jasmine Crockett is made by supporting her, not calling her out. Okay? You know what I'm saying? My demographic is Black America. The money to make with Jasmine Crockett, if you want to say I'm a sellout, you want to say I'm doing this the wrong way, if you want to imply or you want to accuse me of selling out by calling out Jasmine Crockett, you don't know anything about the business. I'm a black man. Most of my audience, I'm a black man with a black-focused channel, black independent-focused channel that also has people that lean Democrats and people that lean conservative. But the fact that Jasmine Crockett is black trumps all that to a lot of black people. The money for me to make would be to be supportive of Jasmine Crockett, not to call her on her shit. Same way with Roland Martin. I would be doing, for me to sell out and go for money would be to do what Roland does with Jasmine Crockett. It's the same thing he did with Tiffany Henyard, which is the same thing he did with Kamala Harris. The only black people that Roland Martin ever calls out are Republicans. We don't get it? It's not that I'm a saint. I'm just trying to tell you what it is. Most of Stephen A. Smith's, I would say half, maybe more than half of his audience are white conservatives. We're not the same. So we have to be able to look at something. If there are 10 people in a room of all different walks of life and all different ideologies, some are conservative, progressive, liberal, medium, independent, middle of the road, radical left, progressive, conservative, far right. But if you said, everybody look at their watch, what time do you have? A number of us, depending on how our watches are set, will say the same thing. That doesn't mean we agree with each other on ideology. It's just you ask the question, and being honest, here goes to my honest answer. Everything's not a conspiracy. Everything is not people working together. Angela Rye, Tiffany Cross, Andrew Gillum, Bakari Sellers, Roland. Everything is not everybody working together in a coalition. Some people just had similar opinions. D.L. Hughley. All right, let's keep going, fam.
Now, I haven't heard everything that Roland Martin said, D.L. Hughley had to say, and all the other names that I mentioned, but I'm sure.
Don Lemon. The fact that I have people that one of my biggest disappointments as of late is the fact that I have people that support Don Lemon who are not on point when it comes to media. This guy, Don Lemon, worked at CNN for 20 years. And what does he do when he gets away from CNN? He basically runs a mini CNN on his own. He doesn't tell us where the bodies are buried. Just imagine all the dirt Don Lemon has on the network and on powerful people that he could never say before because he was hamstrung Don Lemon has been hamstrung by working at CNN. Can anyone doubt that when you work for a company as big as CNN, you got all types of agreements and shit you got to sign? Him and Joy Reid work for two of the biggest networks in liberal media. They could bring down the House of Cards and really do something for Black America. What have they done? They're both multimillionaires. They're not hurting for cash. They were both fired, publicly shamed. And their response is to go after Republicans, even when they're independents, to go right back to going after Trump. Not to call out the corrupt system, not to call out the shameful tactics, not to tell you where the bodies are buried in the fight for Black people, really. They do the same job they were already doing. And you got no smoke for them, and then you come and you criticize. Look, Stephen A. Smith, he ain't nothing compared to them. He's a sports guy trying to get in the biz of corporate media. But those are real guys you should be going after. Who you think knows more dirt about politicians and what's happening in D.C. and all the other corrupt shit than Joy Reid and Don Lemon? And who do they have their gun nozzles pointed at? Who they shooting at? Trump. The guy who's in his last term that already won. And why would you do that if not just for clicks and views and money? And to stay in good graces with people, hoping you could go get yet another job somewhere, working for another multi-billionaire corporation. All right. It's just like, man, we gotta really get better, man. It's almost as if we don't deserve independent Black media because we don't respect what it's about. And of course, I'm not talking about all. I'm not even talking about most. I'm talking about a loud minority of people who never even thought about what I just said until now. Maybe that's good I said it. And that doesn't mean I agree with Stephen A. I just told you. Stephen A. got shit with him too. That doesn't mean he's wrong. That doesn't mean he's wrong. It does not mean he is wrong about Crockett.
It's along the same lines. Nothing but respect. First of all, I'm going to be very, very careful about anything that I say about Roland Martin because he's a friend. I'm going to be careful about anything that I say about D.L. Hughley because I have respect for that man. We've spoken a few months ago. I got nothing but love for him. I am concerned about him not making people laugh and smile as much anymore as he used to because he's more of an activist now than a comedian, but that's a choice and that's his right. And nothing but love for him and respect.
He's a hack.
And anybody else too. My issue with Bakari Sellers is how he talked about me without ever speaking out or reaching.
Zionist AIPAC money, blood money in his pocket has been so for years. That guy goes to their conventions and praises his loyalty to another country.
Out because you don't like a position that I took before or whatever, but you want to come on and sell your book.
Ooh.
After.
Yeah. So Bakari Sellers with all this shit, I told people I was at an event and I saw Bakari up close. I saw how he does. He's a scam. He's a scam. Fronts like he's this really nice guy. What's he do? He tries to come on Stephen A. Smith's show to sell his book. Then when he can't, what's he do? He goes on Native Pods and takes a long, steaming crap all over Stephen A. He just wanted to go on the show. This is what a lot of media people do, though. This is not new. If you don't play ball, they come for you. You say things they don't like, all of a sudden, people lose your number. You say things that make you volatile. You're not playing the game. You're not being nice to everybody that you gotta be nice to in D.C. Even people that you thought you could respect, you can't have respect for them. Get him, Stephen A. That's sad. That's sad, Bakari. Put out a statement, Bakari. Bakari once told me, when you talk about me, make sure you tag me so I have an opportunity to respond. I would love to hear what Bakari has to say about going on the Stephen A. show. Do you deny that you wanted to come on this show? Why would you want to go on a sellout show? a person who no one in Winston-Salem, his alumni, respects him anymore. Why would you want to go on his show? To sell your book. See, these are the type of people, man, that get all the praise, and Charlemagne will invite them up to the Breakfast Club twice a year to sell their wares. And they'll go on the Hot 97s, and they'll be on CNN and MSNBC, and this is what the Democrats like. What they don't like are real truth tellers. And that's just the way the system works. So you're damn right. I don't have to support Stephen A's position of flip-flopping and triangulation, self-serving nature of most of his politics. But that don't make him wrong. Not on this. That don't make him wrong. And I got the guts to say it.
See, I don't play that nonsense. I don't like that. Disagree with what I said. Say why without all the other nonsense. Got nothing but respect. Willie D got over 1 million subscribers. Man, props to you. Doing your thing. Wishing you nothing but the best. Not getting into all that nonsense. But let's deal with what I was saying, please. Can we do that? Can we be real?
Willie D will have no response because Willie D don't know anything really about politics or how shit work. He's a rapper who put out a YouTube channel whose name still rings out because Scarface and him and Bushwick Bill were endeared and loved by the black community. And he's played and used that and did his thing, and that's good for him. But he's not going to have a retort. He can't say why you shouldn't criticize Jasmine Crockett, except she a black woman and she really good people. And you're wrong, and that's messy for you to say something. Basically, Dale Hughley gave Willie D the game. How to get in with the Democrats. The end. The end. Sellouts. Willie D's a sellout. Dale Hughley's a sellout. They're all sellouts. That's what they've done. You think Willie D agrees with everything the Democrats do? How could he? Then why do he support Kamala Harris so unflinchingly? Why do he do all the shit he's been doing? Why is he supporting Jasmine Crockett? Maybe he wants to bring her on his show. He wants her to know, I'm not going to ask you nothing you don't want me to ask you. Enough talk.
So let's take it. Let's take it back. Let's look at the resume of Jasmine Crockett, 30th Congressional District. By the way, the two senators that represent Texas is Senator John Cornyn and Ted Cruz, both Republicans. I'm so surprised. Okay? So you got them in Texas, and they're doing their thing, right? What are we talking about here in terms of Jasmine Crockett's district? 750,000 North Texans. Texas's 30th Congressional District, vibrant community in the heart of Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. That's the area she represents as a congressional representative. Earned her BA in Business Administration from Rhodes College and a JD from the University of Houston. She's licensed to practice law in Texas, Arkansas, and the federal courts. So this is an accomplished, well-educated woman. Ain't nothing about her stupid. Ain't nothing about her something to dismiss or disrespect when it comes to her resume. Let's get that out of the way so as to make sure I'm not being disrespectful when we're talking about her, okay?
Stephen A. never called her a single name. He just questioned her tactics. He never called her any names. They all called him names. And that's the biggest tale. Even Tiffany Cross said he had little D energy. She thought that was a hot take. Yeah, that's the type of rhetoric you expect from one of MSNBC's finest.
What's her reputation? Crockett's performance in the House, according to research, and her success in delivering wins for her district is quote unquote mixed. She's active, ambitious, and visible, exceptional when it comes to fundraising. But many of her major efforts are still works in progress, bills stuck in committees, introduced but have stalled, etc., according to Congress.gov. I'm just reading. She faced similar difficulties as a state rep. The Texas legislature's sole black freshman had big plans for her first session. She ended up mostly playing defense, according to them. And what the implication was is that while she's great at fundraising, the challenge for her was cultivating relationships in Congress. And what does that mean? Potentially going across the aisle when you don't want to. Potentially going across the aisle, okay, when it might be in the best interest of the 750,000 constituents you represent. We know you're a Democrat. We know how disgusting and vile you find the president to be. You've told us on more than one occasion. What I was saying was, where's that going to get you when you're so willing and so apt to verbalize it the way that you choose to verbalize it? How is that going to be productive to your constituents? You have every right to feel the way that you feel about him. You have every right to do everything that you can to vote him out of office, or in his case, the people that are under him, the J.D. Vances of the world, a Marco Rubio of the world, a Pam Bondi, a Cash Patel, and others. You have every right. You should be doing everything you can to win the midterm. But what I'm saying is, where is her rhetoric going to get her and the people she represents in the 30th Congressional District in Texas? What am I talking about? To my producers, could y'all play the clip when she's talking about the president as an enemy of the United States? Could you play that, please?
Your reaction to his appointment?
He needs to go. I mean, this is very simple. We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within. Here is the problem.
Of course, Congresswoman, to interrupt you, but President Trump, of course, has denied any allegations of the white supremacists, and that's why he apparently fired what he. I know your point, but he did fire Darren Beatty in reaction, they believe, in part to his attendance at that conference. Does that change your opinion in any way?
No, it doesn't change my opinion.
So that's the first clip. There's a president in the United States that you're calling a white supremacist, and you're saying that the people who work under him are that as well. While you're in the government needing assistance from that administration to get things done for your constituency and beyond. Okay, that's clip number one. Play clip number two, please. A full-fledged criminal. Play that, please.
Not our democracy. Well, he did say he'd be a dictator on day one. Oh, Democrats, you know, it's just Trump. He just talks. Well, let me tell you something. He is doing more than talking. We talked about Project 2025. We talked about the consolidation of power. We talked about how he wanted to be a king. We talked about in a democratic republic, that is not what it is. We have some sort of checks and balances, and he is doing everything that he can to get rid of those checks and balances. The DOJ and the people that he's going after were simply doing their jobs. The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may not have a United States, because right now he has only been successful in being a divider in chief.
So you care about facts, meaning the Democrats and the Republicans don't. Okay. That's another clip. And by the way, full-fledged criminal and thug. Those were words. How about this one, where she called the president a piece of shit? Play it.
Because the Supreme Court has paved the way for half the stuff that we see that's going on. Listen, Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Okay, we know that. Yes, yes. He is. He is. He is.
Donald Trump is a piece of shit. That's what she said. That's the third one. There's another one here where she's talking about how the GOP doesn't care about facts, but the Democrats do. You just heard that. There was also another one where she called them again a white supremacist. But it didn't just stop there. She went to her own governor of the state of Texas, who's in a wheelchair, by the way. Keep that in mind. And listen to what she said about him.
We in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So yes.
You know, Stephen A. bringing this up. I mean, I'm glad he brought it up, but you know, it kind of sucks because these are all things that I've said on this channel. And I've done segments about the symbolism of the Democratic Party and how Black America needs solutions, not symbols. I point out one of the main people that they say is a fighter for the people does a lot of smoke, blows a lot of smoke, and does a lot of dumb things and says things that doesn't help anyone. How the hell calling your governor, criticizing and mocking your governor's disability, the man will never walk again? How does that make sense? And you know, the Democrats, they didn't even bench her for that shit. So, you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene is horrible. Lauren Boebert was horrible. These are horrible people. They said horrible, cruel things. How's Jasmine Crockett any better? It's just your person. You got a person saying horrible shit, they got a person saying horrible shit.
Governor Hot Wheels. And the only thing that is hot about him is that he's a hot ass mess. And that's going to serve 750,000 constituency in the 30th District of Texas.
We like that, girl. That's on fire. That's just keeping it real. She's talking like the people talk. That's how real people talk. Hot ass mess. That's right. You say that. We love it. When the pendulum swings the other way, when it's time, when people get tired and they come for her, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? You put a battery in her back, you make her a star, and then she falls. That's what I'm saying is gonna happen. It's not that I wish it's gonna happen. It's not that I'm making it happen. This is, I've been around. You don't get old being no damn fool. It's the inevitable. You can't shit on everybody and then not expect shit in return. And she's not even fighting to get anything. It's just to score points and go viral. Jasmine Crockett's basically a TikToker with cred. That's it. She's a TikToker with cred. That's why she was dancing to the Kendrick Lamar songs and doing all the other shit. That's all. I know you wanted to be deeper than that. That's what she is, man. I think Jasmine Crockett's going to gladly leave Congress in a couple years, if not pushed out. And then she'll be a talk show type person. Because that's really what she's good at. She's good at talking and saying a bunch of shit. Jasmine Crockett, you know I'm right. Come on, let me know it up. Jasmine Crockett, you know I'm right. You know it. You know this shit ain't for you. You don't like all this tedious writing of laws and all that bullshit. You just want to be able to use your voice and just talking. Captivate the room with roasting people and shit. You might go on tour. I see it now. Jasmine Crockett, Charleston White. Yeah. I can see it. Tell me y'all can't see that.
That is what I was saying. Never mind what she feels. Never mind whatever level of justification you may have towards feeling the way that you feel. When you're in her position, that's not going to get you anywhere. That's what I was saying. What I was saying was this educated, brilliant black woman representing over 750,000 people is engaging in verbiage and rhetoric for the streets. And that's fine when you're in the streets. How many of y'all bring the streets to the table when you at the negotiating table trying to get a deal done? How many of you are able to think that for a second that you're able to bring street verbiage to Capitol Hill and that's going to work for you? You literally have senators and congressional figures on Capitol Hill on the side of the Republicans telling the networks, whether it's Fox News, News Nation, or anybody else, please, please, please put her front and center on camera. Why would they do that? Because they know it wins for them. And what I was saying was, I appreciate her passion, her intellect, the fact that her heart and her willingness to be courageous and all of those things are in the right place. But my God, isn't it about winning too? Ain't it about getting it done? No. How about positioning yourself, since Jasmine Crockett was on the record stating that we got to keep our eyes on the federal courts because the conservative federal courts are putting forth rules and regulations, policies, and fiduciary and judicial things that serve to benefit one side of our country, but not necessarily all sides. Well, wouldn't that mean that you'd want to become a judge? You are a lawyer by trade. You are licensed to practice law in Texas, Arkansas, and the federal courts. Wouldn't you be somebody that we'd want on the courts, or at least on committees, having a strong arm towards dictating who ends up on the courts? Not just the Supreme Court, but federal courts throughout this country, because that's what senators do, right? Wouldn't you want to position yourself to be able to beat a Ted Cruz or a Senator Cornyn? I'm talking about winning. I'm talking about winning. And listen, I voted for Kamala Harris.
Oh, God.
And I voted for her because I said, even though I wasn't fond of her as a candidate, I certainly thought that she would be more willing to work across the aisle and work with more congressional and Senate representatives than he would. I certainly felt like we wouldn't be hearing words like authoritarianism and dictators and stuff like that.
Republicans were calling Obama those same things when Obama was president. You just didn't pay attention to it. Liberal media did not report it, so most people didn't hear about it. You weren't so chummy with Chris Cuomo at the time. But they were calling him the same thing. Obama signed a lot of executive orders. Trump has signed, in fact, Obama signed more executive orders than Trump. It says Trump did so many so rapidly in such a short amount of time. But Obama still has signed more executive orders than Trump. But it's just the media. The way it's like the media reports it.
So I get where you're coming from. But when you talk about we're honest, they're not. Were you honest when you chose Hillary and you shoved aside Bernie Sanders as a party? Were you honest when you chose Biden and you shoved aside everybody else because it was his turn? Were you honest when you bypassed a primary and made sure to ensure that Kamala Harris was the Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States, when all of you knew, you knew that Biden was finished. You knew he had no business staying in the presidency. You knew that you could have influenced things in a way that would have forced him out. We would have had a primary, and the best candidate for the job would have been running against Trump this past, last November. You knew that. But like 2016, like 2020, as was the case in 2024, and unlike the Republicans, the conservatives, the elite chose our candidate.
He said the elite chose our candidate. And that's the thing with Stephen A. Smith. All that talking just to say, our candidate. He's a Democrat. That's his party. And he's not even allowed to criticize people within his party. And at the end of the day, he'll vote for him. He just said he goes through all this talking just to support Kamala anyway. All this yipping and yapping just to claim a party that hasn't had a decent, proper primary in 12 years. I've been reporting that. There are goofies, like I pointed out earlier today, who criticize me for not going at Republicans more. Meanwhile, we got a party that hasn't had a real primary in 12 years. And they don't think that that deserves a supreme amount of focus. Black people vote for the Democratic Party 90% of the time, and they haven't had a fucking primary in 12 years. And you think I should cover Trump? Fuck out of here. Fuck all y'all. I'm done talking about it. Either you're dumb or you're an op. It's either one. You're either dumb, it's a box of rocks, or you're an op. You're up here stealing from black people. You know, they say if you're going to steal from me, if you're going to rob us, at least use a gun. Don't be a fucking con artist. Do shit like a snake. Look me in the eye and put the gun in my face. It's the least you could do. Jasmine Crockett, in my opinion, is a coward. She let DL and Willie D speak for her. All that mouth she got everywhere for everyone and everything, but she can't speak up for herself? I don't expect you to come on Little Tim Black's show. Who's that guy? Fuck him. You know what you said, Tiffany Cross? Then you lost your gig and I'm supposed to feel sorry for you? People got long memories in this business. I have long memories too. Jasmine Crockett will not come on my show. I get it. I'm not big enough. Fine. You won't go on Stephen A's show, but you will retweet or repost other people shitting on him about talking about you, but you won't respond? Because he might ask you a real question and then shut the fuck up and let you answer. And then the word salad will commence. Very much reminiscent of Kamala Harris. Black America, we gotta be tired. It's okay to be tired of the bullshit. It's okay not to have a party. You don't have a party now. Black America, you are single. You're single. You out here doing it on your own. You think you're with somebody, but you're not. You don't have a party. And welcome to the rest of the world. Working class Americans don't have a party. That's what the whites have been complaining about. Yeah, that's what working class white people have been complaining about. Not everybody's racist as you think. They've been complaining that they don't have a party. You don't either. You got a couple black people that have been hired to make it look like you do. But you don't. And they just brought in 10 million to 20 million new Negroes, new ninjas. So now you're losing all your voting power. And who's telling you to shut up and not talk about it? All the people that benefit, all the people that make money off the Democrats, all the people that are multimillionaires, like Van Lathan, Tiffany, and whatever these people, and Angela Rye. When was the last time Charlamagne talked about this shit? Multimillionaires who made money off the Democrats ain't gonna say shit about the plight of all the working class blacks that are screwed. And white people are screwed too. Working class people are gonna take a hit on this. Meanwhile, they got you talking about inflation being up when it's at 2.9%. Under Biden, it was at fucking 9%. The Democrats are telling you, just chill, man. He's got it under control. The inflation was 3 times worse under Biden. And they sold you a narrative that Trump's tanking the economy. I mean, do we know what the tank is? You know, when you look at the gas tank and you see the red markers by the E, that's how it was under Biden. And you were still fine, like, no problems. See, we were walking around with a gas can stuck on the side of the road under Biden. So anyway, that's it. Look, we need to grow up. We need to be responsible. No one's telling you to go support Trump. Trump already won. Okay, he already won. The election's over. Kamala going around doing her book sales, trying to maintain relevancy, trying to cash in on her failed campaign that blew $2 billion. And she took money out of the hands, the purses, the change purses and the bra straps of working class women and gave it to Oprah and Roland and Al Sharpton. And you're not even mad about it. You're more mad at me for calling her out for it. Are you Sorrow girls? She couldn't even bother to come out on election night and thank you for your service. She was too upset. Let's have been a black man. To quote Torrin Walker, you can't say you support black people if you don't support straight black men. All right, my name is Tim Black. Thank you for being here. Become a member of the Tim Black Show. Go to TimBlackTV.com. Become a member. Go to JoinTimBlack.com. I want to thank my Tim Black Wolfpack for having my back. I got your back. We're going to keep riding till the wheels fall off. You don't got to agree with Stephen A's politics. He's right. He's not right for the same reasons that I think he should be right for. I'd rather hold Jasmine Crockett accountable for the things she said besides the Trump shit. I mean, that's goofy. I'm not here to defend Trump. Stephen A., you sound like you're doing a bunch of Trump defending. That's not what I'm on. I'm not on that. It's the use of blackness I get tired of. Oh, black people this, black people that, and black. And I'm like, and my people and whatever. And then I say, well, what you fighting for black people? What you trying to get for us? No plan, no ideas. They're just like name dropping black people. Black people are struggling. Okay, what's the plan for that? Oh, nothing. No plan at all. So I got an issue with not just her, the entire Democratic Party. She just happens to be one of the most vocal people in a party that I am calling out. All right, guys, let's jump in the comments section real quick and then say goodnight. Before we go any further, let me let you know the Tim Black Wolfpack is dedicated, committed, 10 toes down to reporting the truth, unbiased, and not working for any political party. If that sounds good to you, go to jointimblack.com, become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack.